Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Redwood City. My name is Liz Davis. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am so happy to be a member of this beloved community. If you are here for the first time, welcome. If you have been at UUFRC for a while, welcome. If you have a joy or sorrow to share today, you may put it in the chat. We'll also have an opportunity during the meditation portion of the service to express your gratitude to someone important to you who has passed away. Please join us after the service today for a virtual social half hour. We'll start immediately after the service ends. Grab your coffee and just stay in Zoom. And after a brief musical interlude played by Larry, we'll be able to chat in small, randomly assigned breakout rooms. Details will be provided at the beginning of the social time. Finally, I would like to say thank you in advance to Beth Harrison and John Anning for putting together today's service. My first visit to UUFRC was for an in your own words service, just like this one. Listening to members of our congregation read their reflections was so inspiring to both me and to my husband, Rob, that it made us want to be part of this community. It led me to join a spiritual autobiography writing group taught by Beth Harrison, and eventually to share my own writing with this congregation. So today means a lot to me personally, and I am grateful to John and Beth for being part of the journey that brought me to this moment with you today. And now to Beth, who will light the chalice.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Liz. That was so kind. Please read the chalice lighting words with me. As I light the chalice. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this sanctuary, we harvest bushels of strength for one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. Good morning again, everyone. Welcome to our In Our Own Words service on gratitude. Back in 2006, a couple of years after Peter and I joined UUFRC, I offered a class in spiritual autobiography. And since that time, groups of spiritual autobiography writers have been meeting monthly to reflect and share deeply on topics ranging from childhood games to contemplation of the afterlife. I continue to offer these spiritual autobiography classes every January to seed new writing groups, and will offer one this January 2021. John Anning, a member of our very first writing group, began coordinating worship services that included participants in spiritual autobiography groups to read their reflections. They've offered services on themes such as fatherhood, the 4th of July, the solace of nature. 5 years ago already, John organized a service on gratitude. And as we usher in another season of Thanksgiving, John and I thought this would be a nice time for a reprise. We have invited different and new writers to share their responses with you. Unfortunately, today, Alejandra Domenzain, one of our new writers, is not able to participate. John has also coordinated our musical offerings on the gratitude theme. We hope that our service today, including reflections, special music, and a gratitude meditation, will provide much food for thought and nourishment for your soul in these uncertain times. And now for special music composed and sung by Rin Giesek, who is a friend of our community and shares a song of gratitude for her grandmother titled "Oh Ruby." After the song, we'll hear our first reflection by Anna Dyer titled "Two Dads, Chosen Family."
In 1971, when I was a toddler, my mom and I lived on Potrero Hill in San Francisco. In addition to going to the zoo and parks and the UU church on Sundays, the second 2 years of my life included weekends with my 6'4", union organizing, passionate social worker dad. I remember loving riding on his shoulders. I am told that he thought my birth and presence in his life would help him fix his depression and paranoia. It did not. After several suicide attempts and while he was a patient at Agnew State Hospital, my dad ended his life on my 3rd birthday. I have vague feeling memories from that time, including his love, and also a dark space inside. For many years, if I thought too much about it, I couldn't breathe and felt like I would tumble into that infinite black hole and be swallowed whole. Today, the dark hole has contracted. It's not completely gone, but it's smaller. I comprehend my father's absolute conviction that he would never, ever feel better. I'm also simultaneously grateful for the gifts my dad did give me. My height and being athletic, a sparkle for dancing and gambling and drinking beer fast, compassion and empathy, a social justice gene, and being a UU. By age 8, instead of a bio dad to raise me, I had a second kind of dad. I got a Grady dad. Now stay with me. Here's the soap opera part of the story. Grady was my school friend's dad and my mom's best friend Betty's husband. When Betty and Grady decided to separate, Mom and Grady chose each other with Betty's blessing and encouragement. It was 1976 after all. Betty, Grady's ex-wife, soon fell in love with Barbara, and Betty and Barbara have been like second and third moms to me. My mom and Grady and Betty and Barbara have chosen to remain close these last 44 years. We celebrate holidays, take vacations, and Zoom together regularly. Grady Dad is patient and a thoughtful listener. He loves my mom so profoundly, it radiates to me. Grady parented me with warm acceptance, called my bullshit, has great enthusiasm for my life choices, and always treated me as a daughter. He later adopted me to make it official. Prior to Grady, I was lonely as an only child with a single parent. Good news for me, Grady also came with a bonus. 3 kids who were already my school friends. I got 2 brothers and a sister. I am grateful for the choice my mom made in choosing my Grady dad as her life partner and for choosing and creating something bigger than a traditional nuclear family. It wasn't a given I would be so lucky during my childhood. I am grateful for all the yeses to love that our now 22-member extended family represents. I did nothing to deserve this bounty of love. I don't want to make light of the tragedy experienced by me and everyone who loved my first father. It was and is awful and sad. My acceptance and experience of that darkness helps me see the gifts I have with our chosen family, who I grew up with and am blessed by today. Next, Tim Bartus will share his reflection, Whatever Is.
Whatever is. Whatever this year has been, it has certainly provided a surplus of doom to scroll through, to watch on the news, to feel and see and smell in the air. Suffering is like bad air. It stinks. It colors life a dull, opaque orange. I'm cautious to express gratitude this year because failing to metabolize the shadow of suffering can make gratitude seem like whitewash, a distraction. So today I approach the topic of suffering with sobriety and without specificity. We've all seen the news, even if we haven't felt the weight in our own lives. We know many people are suffering. I am suffering in my way too. Some of you are suffering. I find that taking a moment to note suffering's wreak means that gratitude can be the breath of fresh air it should be, as something deeply tied into the goodness of life, as something that cannot be obliterated regardless of personal pain or misfortune, regardless of what bad things happen in the world. When I was a teenager, a devout Christian, I was part of a Bible quiz team. I spent many nights and weekends memorizing the New Testament. While my life journey eventually took me away from Christian faith, the Apostle Paul left some of his writing with me. One verse in particular laid out a way to direct my mind toward things that lie beyond the reach of unchecked fear and wrath, toward things that can't be erased by any system or individual here on earth. Think about such things, wrote Paul, and I've tried to follow his imperative, because in doing so, I can reconnect to the gratitude for all that is good in life. So, using Paul's words as poetic inspiration and anchor, I wrote something that goes a little bit like this. Whatever is true. Truth is in the mind, but it tells in the body. When things are aligned, there's no need to fear. Whatever is noble. Despite an end, there is joy. Despite pain, there is persistence. Whatever is right. Getting the time and the pitch together is right. Getting the move and the stretch together is right. Whatever is lovely. A trained eye and heart can see what is lovely. See how the light is so delicate. It colors everything, a panoply. Whatever is pure. A child is pure. A soul is pure. Whatever is admirable. Standing up to speak truth to power. They may beat you, but stand up anyways. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, to those who bring care to their making, you show us our best and our beauty. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, regardless of what is going on in the world, I am trying to think about such things. And now for original music by Wayne Burdick, entitled While the Sun Sets. The slideshow is a family effort by Wayne, Lillian, and Griffin. Following the music, Lillian Svec will read her reflection, saying grace.
Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty. Amen. I can still recite this simple blessing all these many years later. When I was growing up, we never sat down to a family dinner without saying grace. Sometimes it was this one. Other times, Dad would create his own, reflecting on his day and our life. It was a time to pause, express gratitude, and acknowledge our good fortune for the meal we were about to eat and our comfortable lives. When I left home and stopped being a practicing Catholic, in many ways, I threw the baby out with the holy water. Grace stopped being my custom. Decades later, I tuned into complementary care when I was in cancer treatment, restorative yoga, mindfulness, my first writing workshop. One technique I became aware of was gratitude journaling. It never became an ongoing practice for me, but I started to count my blessings. Often it worked to help me shift my perspective and to become better able to cope. I liked looking at the world through grateful eyes. I wondered how I could share this practice with my family, and that brought me back to grace. Mine is a little bit different than the one I grew up with. For these gifts, we thank the sun and the earth, the plants and animals, and all the many hands that helped. Let it be. And then we share thankful things. We take turns telling something from our day that we feel gratitude for. My daughter calls it UU Grace. I like that. I hope the words still come easily to her and her brothers years from now when the shadows of the past begin to stretch longer than the vistas of the future. Grace, simple words of gratitude, words to live by. And now DeeDee Stovel will share her reflection, New England Garden.
Thank you, Lillian. The borrowed view in my New England garden opens to a broad meadow, which in the late summer is a cornfield and a pasture for Farmer Wynn's cows. Beyond the field rises the shoulder of Mount Williams, hiding a flank of Mount Greylock, the tallest peak in Massachusetts. A scrubby tree line frames this view on either side. Our dilapidated picnic table sits in a grassy clearing looking out on the view with New York's Taconic Range to the west. Tallbush blueberries separate this clearing from a swale, the yard, and the house. A rough plank bridge constructed by Jack and Kate connects to the lawn. At the opposite end of the yard, another plank bridge leads to my secret garden work area with compost, pots, and debris, all hidden from the house and yard by a stand of red twig dogwoods. A scruffy path connects the work area to the grassy clearing. There's a wildness to this back jumble of trees, bushes, and spaces where everything planted itself. It is a place for kids to play games, a place to bury pets, and a place for birds to nest, and an area of serenity. A grassy lawn gently rolls down from the house to the swale. My beloved perennial garden fills the southeast corner of the lawn. The western edge of the lawn is filled with tall pink, white, deep purple, and lavender lilac bushes, which in June perfume the lawn and provide huge bouquets for the house. A woodland garden with daffodils in April, followed by colorful daylilies in early summer, line the eastern edge. A juga and other low-growing lovelies, shaded by birches and maples, open to a path leading to the front yard. Gardening in the Northeast begins as the snow melts and the daffodil spears poke through the litter. Blades of green grass appear in the thatched lawn. Excitement stirs, the air softens, the frost leaves the ground, and trips to the nursery can begin. I start poking in the dirt for signs from last year. Did my favorite cobalt blue delphinium make it through the winter? What about the others? Soon the reliable yarrow begins to show itself. Roses leaf out, and almost all in the perennial garden return for another year of bloom. Black-eyed Susan, phlox, gay feathers, coreopsis, Shasta daisies, and foxgloves dance merrily in the sun and drink deeply of the rains. After the long, dark, cold days of winter, the cycle begins again with the warm rays of spring. The garden will continue until the first hard frost of September. In the meantime, I will dig in the dirt, move plants around, buy a few new ones. I will admire the beauty of this splendid array of colors and shapes and shades of green set against the thicket of trees and shrubs beyond the swale, and glimpse the meadow and the mountains in the distance. Living by mountains and meadows so exposed to the land and sky, I became aware of the cycle of the seasons, the march of the sun from the southern sky in winter to the northern sky in summer. The miracle of renewal touched me every year. The persistence of tiny seeds turning themselves into beautiful flowers gave me faith in nature and filled me with gratitude for this amazing renewal. I took seriously, and still do, my role of caretaker of the land, an appreciator of the wonder of the world.
Today is the Day of the Dead, a holiday that honors and celebrates friends and family who have died. Beth asks today that we bring a photo or a memento that reminds us of someone who has passed away. We'll begin the meditation portion of our service today by holding up our photo or memento to the screen so we can all see it. Now place it near you so you can contemplate it during this meditation. I invite you to find a comfortable sitting position with both feet on the floor, grounding you to this earth. Start by taking a couple of slow, deep breaths. Expand your abdomen completely as you inhale and release the air gradually as you exhale. Closing your eyes for just a moment. Now gaze at your photo or your object. What do you notice? What feelings does it evoke? Close your eyes and imagine that the person whom you love and miss is sitting next to you. Perhaps the person places a hand on your shoulder or takes your hand. How does this feel? Are you grateful to this person for their presence in your life? Do you still feel that presence? Allow yourself to feel a connection to your loved one. Send a wish or an expression of appreciation to them. Say it out loud if you wish. You're muted, no one will hear. Now return to a few deep, slow breaths. Open your eyes and come back to the present moment.
Thank you, Liz, for that beautiful meditation. And thank you, John, for that fabulous song. Thank you to you both so much for this service. Now it's time to extinguish our chalice, and then I'll say some closing words, and we'll move into the social part of our service. Please say these words with me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. After the closing words, I invite you to stay on Zoom to listen to Larry's postlude and wait for the opportunity to join our breakout rooms for virtual conversations. Before I give the closing words, I'd like to pass along a blessing from Roz Wagner, one of our beloved members, who many of you know is now in advanced hospice care. And these are the words she wanted to share with us from Roz. I want to give you all a blessing that you can pass on to your beloveds. Be as loving and compassionate as you can to yourself and to others. So our thoughts go out to Roz and her family at this moment. I would like to express my sincere appreciation in this wonderful gratitude service for everyone who contributed to it and who participated in it. To Anna, Lily, Tim, Lillian, and DeeDee, I'm so inspired by your beautiful words. Thank you, John, for your continued commitment to our spiritual autobiography groups and for coordinating these many in our own word services over the years. Thank you to Liz and the rest of the worship team. And I'd like to acknowledge in particular the behind the scenes tech crew. I learned today how complicated and challenging putting together these services is. The worship team who coordinates our services week after week is so amazing. How grateful I am, how grateful we are for this beloved community. May the spirit of love inspire you with gladness and gratitude and give you purpose to go out and do good work. Blessed be.